This is ALESTER CROWLEY, the Book of Wisdom, Part 4. I'm blown away right now. I've read ALESTER CROWLEY before, but I stumbled upon this huge archive of his work. And he was truly the master of the mysteries times 10. He was the prophet. It's funny. Everyone depicts him as the beast, the devil, the 666, the most wicked man to ever walk the face of the earth. Wouldn't you expect the Matrix to depict the one who brings the teaching that will awaken man to divinity as the devil? Whenever you find yourself in the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. I had this revelation, and that's what made me go seek out. It was basically, I was listening to Manly Hall talk about the nature of wisdom, and that true wisdom can only be attained by one who has no prejudice, and furthermore, by one who has a discerning eye, having gathered many truths, right? He need not look at the man. He only need to hear the message, right? And can derive more truth from it, ever growing and building. As we listen to ALESTER CROWLEY right here, it's like, damn. Damn. I've been studying Gnosticism and Hermetics, and a little bit of Kabbalah here and there. But he just takes it to a new level and speaks in words that I truly just get right away. And yeah.
Sequitur de his VIIS. Now the path of Aeon is a link between Mercury and the Sun, and in the zodiac importeth the goat.
Oh, the last thing I'm saying is, prejudice is the greatest stumbling block on the way to wisdom. It's not the man, it's the message.
Now the path of Aeon is a link between Mercury and the Sun, and in the zodiac importeth the goat. This goat is called also strength, and standeth in the meridian at the sunrise of spring, and it is his nature to leap upon the mountains. So therefore he is a symbol of true magic, and his name is Baphomet, wherefore did I design him as an Atu of Thoth, the 15th, and put his image in the front of my book, The Ritual of High Magic, which was the second part of my thesis for the grade of Major Adept when I was clothed about with the body called Alphonse Louis Constant. Now the goat fleeth not as doth the eagle, but consider this also that it is the true nature of man to dwell upon the earth, so that his flights are oft but fantasy, yea, the eagle also is bound to his eyrie, nor feedeth upon air. Therefore this goat, making each leap with fervor, yet all times secure in his own element, is a true hieroglyph of the magician. Mark also, this path sheweth one continuous in exaltation upon a throne, and so is it the formula of the man as the other was of the woman. 175. Rho. De Oculhoor. I say furthermore that this path is of the circle, and of the eye of Horus that sleepeth not but is vigilant. The circle is all perfect, equal every way, but the Vesica hath bitter need, and seeketh thy medicine, that is of right compounded for high purpose, to ease her infirmity. Thus is thy will frustrated, and thy mind distracted, and thy work lamed, if it be not brought to naught. Also thy puissance in thine art is minished by a full moiety, as I do esteem it. But the Also thy puissance in thine art is minished by a full moiety, as I do esteem it. But the eye of Horus hath no need, and is free in his will, not seeking a level, or requiring a medicine, and is fit and worthy to be the companion and the ally of thee in thy work, as a friend to thee, not mistress and not slave, that seek ever with slyness and deceit to encompass their own ends. There is moreover a reason in physics for my word, study thou this matter in the laws of the changes of nature. For things unlike do in the marriage
stable, and resisteth change, but things like increase mutually the potential of the particular natures. Howbeit, each path hath his own use, and thou being instructed in all ways choose thine with discretion. 176. Sigma. De sua initiatione. My son, my delight, honey of the comb of my life, I will say also this concerning the odds of the formulae of male and female, that mine initiation was ordered as followeth. First, unto the middle of the way, the attainment of the knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel, were these men appointed to mine aid: Jerome Pollitt of Kendal, Cecil Jones of Basingstoke, Alan Bennett of the Border, and Oscar Exenstein of the Mountain with no woman. But after that attainment hath word come to me only through women, Wada the seer, and Viracum, and in mine initiation into the degree of Magus, the cat Ilariw, and thy mother, Helen the play actress, the serpent, with Miriam the drunkard, and Rita the harlot to bear dagger and poison, then these others, Alice the singing woman for an owl, then Catherine the dog of Anubis, and Arhitha the camel that renewed the work of Viracum, with Olin the dragon, and, but here I do restrict myself in speech, for the end is wrapped about with a veil, as the face of a virgin. But do thou meditate strictly upon these things, distinguishing the right property, order, and use of the other and the other in the relative, even as thou makest them all one, that is none, in the absolute. 177. Tau. Der Herbosanctissimoarabico. Recall, O my son, the fable of the Hebrews, which they brought from the city Babylon, how Nebuchadnezzar the great king, being afflicted in his spirit, did depart from among men for 7 years' space, eating grass as doth an ox. Now this ox is the letter Aleph, and is the Datu of Thoth, whose number is 0, and whose name is Mart Truth, or Maut the vulture, the All-Mother, being an image of Our Lady knew it, but also it is called the Fool, who is Parsifal, dare reign Thor, and so refereth to him that walketh in the way of the Tau. Also, he is Harpocrates the child Horus walking, as saith David, the Bardavi that became king in his psalms, upon the lion and the dragon, that is, he is in unity with his own secret nature, as I have shown thee in my word concerning the Sphinx. O my son, yestereve came the Spirit upon me that I also should eat the grass of the Arabs, and by virtue of the bewitchment thereof behold that which might be appointed for the enlightenment of mine eyes. Now then of this may I not speak, seeing that it involveth the mystery of the transcending of time, so that in 1 hour of our terrestrial measure did I gather the harvest of an eon, and in 10 lives I could not declare it. 178. Upsilon. De QUIBUSDAMMYSTERIIS vidi. Yet even as a man may say.
How did he do that? Look back into that.
Yet even as a man may set up a memorial, a symbol to import 10,000 times 10,000, so may I strive to inform thine understanding by hieroglyph. And here shall thine own experience serve us, because a token of remembrance sufficeth him that is familiar with a matter, which to him that knoweth it not should not be made manifest, no, not in a year of instruction. Here first then is one amid the uncounted wonders of that vision, upon a field blacker and richer than velvet was the sun of all being, alone. Then about him were little crosses, Greek, overrunning the heaven. These change from form to form, geometrical, marvel devouring marvel, 1,000 times 1,000 in the course and sequence, until by the movement was the universe churned into the quintessence of light. Moreover at another time did I behold all things as bubbles, iridescent and luminous, self-shining in every color, myriad pursuing myriad, until by the perpetual beauty they exhausted the virtue of my mind to receive them, and whelmed it, so that I was fain to withdraw myself from the burden of that brilliance. Yet, O my son, the sum of all this amounteth not to the worth of one dawn glimmer of our true vision of holiness. Decorum modo meditationis. Now for the chief of that which was granted unto me, it was the apprehension of those willed changes or transmutations of the mind which lead into truth, being as ladders unto heaven, or so I called them at that time, seeking for a phrase to admonish the scribe that
Wow. He's really defining, I guess, what reality files will serve to be. Changes the apprehensions of those things through meditation, right? To change and transmute layers of the mind to lead you into more truth. each time you discover one of these master keys that allow you to apprehend and then transmute it, like an aspect of mind or the entire mind, into the next evolution. These are ladders onto the heavens, right? Seeking for, wow. I'm building ladders to the heavens for my sisters and brethren.
Now for the chief of that which was granted but I make effort in vain, O my son, to record this matter in detail, for it is the quality of the But I make effort in vain, O my son, to record this matter in detail, for it is the quality of the grass to quicken the operation of thought, it may be thousandfold, and moreover to figure each step in images complex and overpowering in beauty, so that one hath no time wherein to conceive, much less to utter any word for a name or any of them. Also, such was the multiplicity of these ladders, and their equivalents, that the memory holdeth no more any one of them, but only a certain comprehension of the method, wordless by reason of its subtlety. Now therefore must I make by my will a concentration mighty and terrible of my thought, that I may bring forth this mystery in expression. For this method is of virtue and profit, by it mayst thou come easily and with delight to the perfection of truth. It is no odds from what thought thou makest the first leap in thy meditation, so that thou mayst know how every road endeth in Monsalvat, and
I feel his pain trying to describe these transformations and where they come from. It's so impossible. It's almost like you gotta deceive them to the same spot. Here we go.
I believe generally, on ground both of theory and experience, so little as I have, that a man must first be initiate and established in our law, before he may use this method. For in it is an implication of our secret enlightenment concerning the universe, how its nature is utterly perfection. Now every thought is a separation, and the medicine of that is to marry each one with its contradiction, as I have showed formerly in many writings. And thou shalt clap the one to the other with vehemence of spirit, swiftly as light itself, that the ecstasy be spontaneous. So therefore it is expedient that thou have travelled already in this path. Thou knowest right well, O my son, how a thought is imperfect in two dimensions, being separate from its contradiction, but also constrained in its scope, because by that PERUDENTIAORDINISAA. Hear then, O my son, that shall be mightier than all the kings of the earth, as it is prophesied, and thou be he, because thou shalt establish the law which I have given, even the law of.
You see what I'm saying? I truly believe this. I don't know if he gave it his whole life, but what I've been hearing from him as of tonight is the highest order of teaching I've ever discovered. And I seek all the time, diligently, like multiple hours on multiple hours every day. This shit, I truly think, will help me like overcome and unify to the level I want to be. Hell yeah.
Hear then, O my son, that shall be mightier than all the kings of the earth, as it is prophesied, and thou be he, because thou shalt establish the law which I have given, even the law of Thelema. Here in this which I have written is a point of judgment in thy work to bring into the light of initiation such as come unto thee, affirming the will to this attainment. For every one hath his own path and his own law, and there is no art in magic but to seek out that path and that law, that he may pursue the one by the right use of the other. It shall be that one cometh unto thee, desiring Amen Ra, I speak in a figure or exemplar, another ASI, a third Horpa Kra, or again, one seeketh instruction in Obia, and his fellow in Wanga, and of all these not one in 10,000 shall be aware of his true way. For albeit our last step is one for all, yet his next stem is particular to each. Therefore is the preparation of a student that seeketh our holy order of AA most general, informing his mind of all known methods, so that his will may select among these by instinct, then after, as a probationer, he practiseth those which he hath preferred, and by the examination of his record after the period appointed thou mayst have wisdom concerning him, to confirm him in those ways which are showed thereby to be germane to his true nature. Altera de sua via. Thus I was brought unto the knowledge of myself in a certain secret grace, and as a poet, by Jerome Pollitt of Kendal, Oscar Eckenstein of the Mountain discovered manhood in me, teaching me to endure hardship, and to dare many shapes of death. Also he nurtured me in concentration, the art of the mystics, but without lumber of theology. Alan Bennett bestowed upon me the right art of magic, and our holy Kabbalah, with a great treasure of learning in many matters, but especially concerning Egypt and Asia, the mysteries of their arcane wisdom. But of Cecil Jones had I the great gift of the holy magic of Abramelin, and he inducted me into that order which we name not because of the silliness of the profane that pretend thereto, and he brought me to the knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel. Also, he was the herald of the masters of the temple when they bade me welcome to their order, appointing a siege for me in the city of the pyramids, under the night of Pan. But for 3 years I was not willing to avail myself thereof. Now mark well this, O my son, that this path was peculiar to the law of my star, and none other should follow me herein, or seek to follow me, for he hath his own proper orbit. O my son, err not by generalization and conformity, for this is
Do as thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. The true will, not mine, but thine, be done, is to discover the true impulse of the soul, and act on it diligently. Unify your entire mind and being around it. Right? And to do that, you must follow the whispers of your heart, the instincts and the intuitions, right? Unapologetically. You literally need to have the blinders on, the earplugs in when it comes to anyone telling you how to live your life or what direction to take. My friends, your unwillingness to walk a path based off of the amount of hell it'll cause you, apparently, like the fear you have built of going all the way that crazy ass path over there, because you'll be rejected and alienated by almost everyone. That's conformity. That's you know, until you can find the courage to take steps, right? And then just let yourself go and roll with the flow and feel the spirit like come through. Until you can find that courage, you will never find the path. You will never find alignment. Period. It is to heed the call of the heart 100%. 100%.
De PRUDENTIA artist DOCENDI. Nevertheless, this one affliction shall touch nigh all that come to thee, and that is this great pox of sin, that is our bane inherited of the aeon of slain gods. Look the first of all, when any postulant boweth before thee, whether there be not conflict and restriction in his mind, and in his will. If he deem good and evil to be absolute, instead of as relative to the health of this body, or the weal of the society of which he is a member, or what not, as it may be, instruct him. Or if he will say that he will sacrifice all for initiation, correct him, as it is written, but whoso gives one particle of dust shall lose all in that hour. For it is conflict if he weigh one thing with another, and renunciation, being sorrowful, is not worthy of acceptance. but he must with joy unite all he is and hath, keeping the whole into one billow of love, under will. Yea, O my son, until thou hast brought the postulant into our freedom from sin, and the sense and conviction thereof, he is not ready for the path of our magic and illumination, because every way soever is a going, and this sin is an obstacle and a fetter and an hoodwink on every one of them, for it is restriction, whether he set out by the meditations of the Dharma, or by Yea, O my son, until thou hast brought the postulant into our freedom, INIMICA animo. How shall a man attain to the trance where all is one, if he yet debate within his mind concerning virtue as a thing absolute? Thus, O my son, there be those that are fuddled with doubt.
Damn. Damn, I needed to hear that. That's what always kills my deepest trance and highest states. It's all of a sudden I get attached to some kind of form. I'm definitely going to start practicing and concentrating on seeing all things as God and no separation between. Trying to understand, the nature of the spectrum. I think that will allow much higher states of flow. But I'll experiment as always.
Thus, O my son, there be those that are fuddled with doubt whether meat is to be eaten. I choose this as a reference with habit is proper to the lion as grass to the horse, so that his right problem is solely thus what is fitting to his own nature. Or again, I suppose that he is in vision, and an angel, visiting him, imparteth a truth contrary to his prejudice, as it fell out in mine own case when I inhabited the body of Sir Edward Kelly, also do I in part remember, as it seemeth dimly. This nevertheless is sure, or the learned Casaubon, publishing the record of that word with the magician D, saith falsely, that an angel did declare unto Kelly the very axiomatter of our law of Thelema, in good measure, and plainly, but D, afflicted by the fixity of his tenets that were of the slave gods, was wroth, and by his authority prevailed upon the other, who was indeed not wholly perfected as an instrument, or the world ready for that sowing. Consider also how in this very life I was the enemy of mine own law, and wrote down the book of the law contrary to my conscious will by the virtue of obedience as a scribe, and strove constantly to escape mine own work, and the utterance of my word, until by initiation I was made all one.
Oh my God. Holy shit. This dude is like my reflection. I can't get over this feeling that he wrote this for me and a very, very few. Like he said earlier in it. Of all the seekers on the path, there's not 1 in 10,000 that will ever discover his true will. This book is for but a handful of people. Hopefully it's the master key to bring you to the highest level. Because once those few attain, they'll bring up man to heights I can't imagine right now. I feel him on this one all the fucking way.
DILLUMINATUMOPERIBUSDIVEIS. Do thou understand how few be they whose work in this the present lives is our way of initiation? Yet it is written in the book of the law that the law is for all, so that thou shalt in no wise err if thou establish it as the formula of the aeon, universal among men. Also, ever for them that are fitted to advance in our light, there is order and diversity in function, as regardeth the work in our sublime brotherhood. Thus, it might well be that, in a profess house of the temple, or college of the Holy Ghost, each night a brother might severally attain experience of every trance, unto the perfection of all illumination, yet by this there ought not to arise confusion, one usurping the appointed office of another. For the abbot, although he be not enlightened wholly, is yet abbot, and the place of the cook, where he Saint Aaron and Paramahamsa in one person, is in his kitchen. Confound not thou in any wise therefore the degree of attainment of any man with his right function in our holy order, for although by initiation cometh the light, and the right, and the might to accomplish all works soever, yet these are inoperative save as they are able to use a machine which is of the same order of things as the effect required. As the best swordsman hath need of a sword, so hath every magician of a body and mind capable to the work that he willeth, and he can do nothing, save it be proper to his nature. 189. Zeta Zeta. Der Eadem Real Terra V. Der Eadem Re.
I have a really good feeling about this chapter.
By this understanding be they rebuked that make a reproach to our art, saying in their insolence that if we have all power, why we betimes in stress of poverty, and in contempt of men, and in pain of disease, and so forth, mocking us, and holding our magic for delusion. But they behold not our light, how it guideth us in our path unto a goal that is not in the comprehension, so that we crave not that which seemeth to them the sole food and comfort of life. Also, this which we attain, though it be the essence of omniscience and omnipotence, informeth and moveth the material world, so to call it only according to the nature of that which is therein. For the light of the sun by his very wholeness itself sheweth a rose red, but a leaf green, and his heat gathereth the clouds, and disperseth them also. So I then, though I were perfect ion magic, might not work in metals as a smith, or become rich by commerce as a merchant, for I have not in my nature the engines proper to these capacities, and therefore it is not of my will to seek to exercise them. Here then is my case, that I cannot because I will not, and it were conflict, should I turn thither. But let every man become perfect in his own work, not he.
This is a master key sentence, I believe.
But let every man become perfect in his own work, not heeding the rebuke of another, that some way not his own is more noble or profitable, but being constant in mindfulness concerning his business. 190. Zeta nu. De pace perfecta loose. How shall the measure our stature and our success by that canon of relation and illusion, and their ignorance of our nature? Time is but sequence, and a moment of light outweigheth an age of darkness. What is happiness but the issue of the harmony of our consciousness with our truth, and the conformity of will with action? The initiate is certainty of his fulfillment, which to the profane is but the effect of.
Damn. He's going off right here. Holy hell.
To the initiate is certainty of his fulfillment, which to the profane is but the effect of hazard, and he feareth to lose what he loveth, or thinketh he loveth. But we, loving only in light, suffer not by fear or by bereavement, because to us every event is welcome, being right, necessary and proper to our particular path. The knowledge of this one matter is the end of dread and of regret. Make it the governor of thy mind, to rule its pace, lest it hasten a lag by stress of thine environment. How this attainment is possible for all mankind, since it asketh but how this attainment is possible. The knowledge of this one matter is the end of dread and of regret. Make it the governor of thy mind, to rule its pace, lest it hasten a lag by stress of thine environment. How this attainment is possible for all mankind. How this attainment is possible for all mankind, since it asketh zeta theta, defaced perfecta. O my son, is it not a marvel, this light whereof we are the quintessence and the seed? By it are we made whole, dissolved in the body and in the soul of Our Lady knew it even as her Lord had it, so that the Gnostic sacrament of the cosmos is perpetually elevated before us. We behold all that is and comprehend its mystery, and its order in this, the Mort. Thou hast made question of me concerning death, and this is my opinion, of which I say not this is the truth. First in the temple called man is the God, his soul, or star, individual and eternal, but also inherent in the body of Our Lady knew it. Now this soul, as an officer in the high mass of the cosmos, taketh on the vesture of his office. Now this soul, as an officer in the high mass of the cosmos, taketh on the vesture of his office, that is, inhabiteth a tabernacle of illusion, a body and mind. And this tabernacle is subject to the law of change, for it is complex, and diffuse, reacting to every stimulus or impression. If then the mind be attached constantly to the body, death hath no power to decompose it wholly, but a decaying shell of the dead man, his mind holding together for a little his body of light, haunteth the earth, seeking a new tabernacle, in its error that feareth change in some other body. These shells are broken away utterly from the star that did enlighten them, and they are vampires, obsessing them that adventure themselves into the astral world without magical protection, or invoke them, as do the spiritists. For by death is man released only from the gross body, at the first, and is complete otherwise upon the astral plane, as he was in his life. But this wholeness suffereth stress, and its girders are loosened, the weaker first and after that the stronger. 193. Zeta Kappa. Da ADEPTISR. C. ESCHATOLOGIA. Consider now in this light what shall come to the adept, to him that hath aspired constantly and firmly to his star, attuning the mind unto the music of its will.
liking this shit right here.
Consider now in this light what shall come to the adept, to him that hath aspired constantly and firmly to his star, attuning the mind unto the music of its will. In him, if his mind be knit perfectly together, is itself, and conjoined with the star, is so strong a confection that it breaketh away easily not only from the gross body, but the fine. It is this fine body which bindeth it to the astral, as did the gross to the material world, then it accomplisheth willingly the sacrament of a second death, and leaveth the body of light. But the mind cleaveth closely, by right of its harmony, and might of its love, to its star, resisteth the ministers of disruption, for a season, according to its strength. Now, if this star be of those that are bound by the great oath, incarnating without remission because of delight in the cosmic sacrament, it seeketh a new vehicle in the appointed way, and indwelleth the fetus of a child, and quickeneth it. And if at this time the mind of its former tabernacle yet cling to it, then is there continuity of character, and it may be memory, between the two vehicles. This is briefly and without elaboration, is the way of Asar in Amenti, according to mine opinion, of which I say not, this is the truth. 194. Zeta Lambda. Der Nuptiissummis. Now then to this doctrine, O my son, add thou that which thou hast learned in the book of the law, that death is the dissolution in the case of Our Lady knew it. This is a true consonance as a bass with treble, for here is the impulse that setteth us to magic the pain of the conscious mind. Having then wit to find the cause of this pain in the sense of separation, and its cessation by the union of life, it is the summit of Having then wit to find the cause of this pain in the sense of separation, de caecitiaphilosophorumantitiquum. Behold, how comfortable is this my wisdom. Der Heiesiamanichaea. These philosophers, or shall I not say misosophers and pseudo-sophists, have been hard put to it to explain the mystery of the existence of their evil. They have cried, frothing with words, the evil is illusion. But if so, that illusion is evil, whence came it, and to what end? If the devil created it, who created the devil? All the contention resolveth to this dilemma of change in a changeless, falsity in a true, hate in a loving, weakness in an almighty, duality in a simple thing. They define the God. Nor do they see that they restrict the God whom yet they would have to be all, by admitting opposites to this nature ever when they sum these opposites as illusion, since illusion is the denial of his truth. But the Indians, seeing this, seek escape by denying all duality soever to the God, or true state. I speak of Parabrahman and of Nirvana, thus in any reality of thought rather denying him or it than destroying illusion. But in our light we have no need of any denial, and accept all, yea, illusion. So do thou apprehend this wisdom, O my Consider a dream, how it is unreal in respect of thine experience. So do thou apprehend this wisdom, O my son, laying it to thine heart, as a mistress, and hiding it in the treasury of thy mind as a jewel of enlightenment. SAPIENTIAETSTULTITIA. dmitrius.realityfiles. O my son, in this letter have I written the name of my own nature, its law, its quality, its will and its appurtenance or ornament. For it is the child of my love toward thee, and the expression through mine art of my will so far as that regardeth thee. Now every child is made of the essence of his father, so that every creation is a likeness or image of the Creator, but modified by the mother, that is to say, the material whereon he begetteth. So then this letter is a projection of mine own star in a mirror, to wit mine idea in thy regard, and it shall be unto thee as a clear vision of thy but also, because this word is the formula of the eon, that is the law of its changes, a phenomena, the equation that expresseth its energy and its motion, it shall serve every man in his measure as a textbook, a comment upon the theoric and praxis of magic. By it may he discover his true nature, and its will, and apply his force and his intelligence to the right fulfillment thereof. It shall be a beacon to enlighten him, to comfort him, and to direct him, and it shall be a witness and memorial of my word and of mine attainment unto wisdom. 206. Zeta Chi. Demodo quo hancepistolalamscipsi. There is not one word in this letter that is not writ with mine own hand and style, slowly and heedfully, as is contrary with my custom, being the fruit of the tree of my mediation, well ripened by the sun of mine illumination. With much toil have I done this, being oftentimes seated without motion save of the hands, while earth rolled from twilight unto twilight, so that my body became cold and rigid, even as is a corpse. Also, in the intervals of this scripture, have I been given to contemplation and to works of high magic, notably the Mass of the Holy Ghost, in the concentration of my will to impart this wisdom unto thee, and to reveal the mysteries of truth. Now of all these this is the root, that truth is not fixed with the rigor of death, but vital with lust of change, and inflamed with the love of its
That's important.
But all these things are written in the book of the law, after which do I limp far off upon the poor crutch of mine understanding of its word, yea, I am well assured that all things soever, but we being mostly without wit are not able to distinguish them. To the stature of I was is beyond our measure, seeing that he was able to comprehend the whole mystery of knew it and have had it, and yet to declare the message in the language of men. 207. Peter Psi. As it is shown in the design minutum mundum, the tree of life. For their wisdom be the second emanation of his essence, there is a path to separate and to join them, the reference thereof being Aleph, that is one indeed, but also 111 in his full orthography, to signify the most holy Trinity, and by metathesis it is thick darkness, and sudden death. This is also the number of Aum, which is Amoun, and the root sound of Omne, or in Greek Pan, and it is a number of the sun. Yet is the Atu of Thoth that correspondeth thereunto marked with Zero, and its name is Mat, whereof I have spoken formerly, and its image is the fool. O my son, gather thou all these limbs together in one body, and breathe upon it with thy spirit, that it may live, then do thou embrace it with lust of thy man. Now at last in the reinforcement and ecstasy of this consummation thou shalt with by what inspiration thou didst choose thy name in the losses, I mean Parzival, dare reign Thor, the true knight that won kingship in Monsalvat, and made whole the wound of Amphitas, and ordered Kundry to right service, and regained the lance, and revived the miracle of the Sangrol, yea also upon himself did he accomplish his work in the end, Hoxton Hiles wonder. Alosing dem Alosa. This is the last word of the song that thine uncle Richard Wagner made for worship of this mystery. Understand thou this, O my son, as I take leave of thee in this epistle, that the summit of wisdom is the opening of the way that leadeth unto the crown and essence of all, to the soul of the child Horus the Lord of the Aeon. This way is the path of the pure fool. 208. Peter Omega. The ORACULOSUMMO. Lo, in the sagas of old time, legend of Skald, of Brad, of Druid, cometh he not in green like spring. O thou great fool, thou water that art air, in whom all complex is resolved. Yes, thou in ragged raiment, with the staff of Priapus and the wineskin. And who is this pure fool? Lo, in the sagas of old time, legend of Skald, of Brad, of Druid, cometh he not in green like spring. O thou great fool, thou water that art air, in whom all complex is resolved. Yes, thou in ragged raiment, with the staff of Priapus and the wineskin.